Hey, story fans, it's Travis Hightower, the Writing Ref. I've been a writer and author developing my craft for over 20 years, and I'm here with another book referral. I call them referrals because if they were a book review, I would already be telling you about how excellent the book is. But in these book referrals, I want to take a closer look and micro-examine the methods and talents of different authors so we can all become better storytellers. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to write a compelling tragedy by taking a close look at The Forgotten Son by B.J. Sloan. And we'll do that right now.
Attack me with all your strength.
I mean, the best parts about Star Wars is there is no good or evil.
All we need to win are the fellas in this room right now.
I would describe The Forgotten Son as literary fiction or even book club fiction. On the surface, it's a coming-of-age story about a teenager named Bunny who slowly loses his only parent and learns to adapt by reaching out to his neighbors as he tries to navigate high school life. But thematically, it's so much more than that. If you watch my channel, you know that I'm typically drawn to science fiction, fantasy, or thrillers. But in a way, when you read Forgotten Son, you're entering a whole new world, especially if you're a city boy like me. The story takes place in a rural Texas during the late 1970s. And while there is a lot familiar to me as a Texan, there's a lot of culture and local color that's totally alien, if not for the place, but for the time. And as you read Forgotten Son, you come to realize that the author, B.J. Sloan, has crafted a masterful tale of how the adulterous behavior of one man ends up bringing pain and tragedy for many people in his circle. Now, there are 3 point of view characters. Bunny is, of course, one of them. And so is the man with the bad behavior. His name is T.C. Conway. But his wife is also a point of view character, Bridget Conway. Sloan navigates the point of view of these 3 characters to build her story. So if you're thinking of writing a tragic tale of woe, you'll want to pay attention to some of the techniques that this author uses. A note before we begin. The author uses a third-person present point of view perspective for this book. This is a difficult point of view to pull off, and I consider it advanced. I highly recommend using a third-person past or first person if you're starting out with your first book. So let's talk about 3 different important aspects of writing a tragedy that B.J. Sloan demonstrates. The first one is the one you learn in school, have a tragic character flaw. Every English class will have you have a test question over which tragic flaw caused the downfall of some Shakespearean character. In this book, some character flaws are kind of obvious, like TC is just unashamedly adulterous. Others are more subtle. Bridget needs some kind of solid proof of her husband's cheating, even though she knows it the whole time. The whole book, she really knows that he's an unfaithful bastard, but in her mind, it will be her fault that she couldn't keep her husband at home unless she can prove it to the rest of the community. Bunny is the most subtle of all, because you're rooting for him to win and get the girl at the end of the day for his love interest, Raquel. But you realize too late that he actually has an obsessive infatuation with her. More than that, he's got a very dark and vengeful anger inside of him that he can't control. His first act in retaliation, using that anger, is to stab a bully in the hand with a pencil. And the town kind of punishes him for it. And you're on his side because the bully is just a jackass. And in this strange world, he gets expelled from school for a week. When he comes back, he tries to reunite with Raquel. I'm going to read an example from when he tries to do that. Later, when the roar of engines wakes him, Bunny rubs his face awake, watching as the buses speed past, one after the other. Black diesel clouds explode from the exhaust pipes that seem too small for the big boxes on wheels. The welcome parade of black and yellow is always a happy reminder the school day is almost done. The drivers, mostly veterans, have developed a humorous and casual acceptance of irregularities. But the driver of 209, Raquel's bus, is the junior high coach. Johnny Jones, standing maybe 5 feet 2, is in charge of the basketball team. A super athlete, he earns the respect of his students with his ability to kick to a stance from a prone position. The coach has only been driving since his wife gave birth recently. Coach Jones still believes in bus rules. Knowing this, Bunny feels his best chance will be boarding just as though he is a passenger. He rode that route once before and Coach allowed it, but that's when he was with Raquel. Maybe he'll remember. Bunny grabs the stuffed kitten, stuffs it under his arm, and strides over to the bus row. Hey there, bell hasn't rung. Coach Jones rolls his wrist, checking the time. Got out early, finished a test, Bunny lies, hurrying to the open door. Hold up there, nobody on before the bell. Coach throws out an arm, blocking the way. He narrows his eyes and moves his head, looking Bunny up and down. You don't live on my route, do you? I ride with a friend and walk home from her house. Yeah, I've seen you, Coach squints. Tell me, does that girl want you riding with her? Certain by now all the teachers have heard about the pencil incident. Bunny tries again. We're friends, he nods aggressively. I'll ask her, Coach says, crossing his arms. Wait over there. He points to the side of the school, 15 feet away. Bunny slinks off to lean against the building, his stomach twisting with worry. He has to stay positive. He pulls the fluffy animal from under his arm, hoping to get a few seconds with Raquel when she comes out of the door. One-on-one, he knows he can make a difference. That is, before the coach cross-examines her. In a few minutes, the sound of the last bell makes Bunny jump to attention, and students begin filing outside. A few of them look surprised when they see Bunny lurking on the other side by the door. Coach Jones goes back inside the school while kids board. Come on, Raquel, Bunny mutters, his hand squeezing a chokehold on the stuffed cat. Minutes tick by, and the steady stream of students slows until the last stragglers wander out. Still no Raquel. Rubber door seals on the first bus slap closed as it roars away, leaving behind a foul haze of exhaust. Coach Jones dashes from the school, hurrying to his own bus, parked second in line. Just before he jumps aboard, he turns and yells back at Bunny, Oh hey, your friend isn't coming today. She got another ride. Now the second important aspect that you want in writing a tragedy is to build off those character flaws, to make characters that you can still root for. So even if you have a totally unlikable character, you're still going to be rooting for them. For example, TC is a character that you immediately don't like. He judges his daughters for being fat or not pretty. He flirts with and wants to have relations with underage girls still in high school. He has several adulterous relationships at any one time. And yet, being in his point of view, BJ Sloan still has you liking him sometimes, and even rooting for him. For example, in this scene, where TC has been sneaking around with a woman and the boyfriend comes home before he can get out of there. In order to escape, TC throws his clothes out the window and finds himself hanging for dear life from the second floor balcony as the angry boyfriend looks for him. Where's that son of a bitch? TC squeezes his eyes closed, hoping to make himself invisible, and prays the guy isn't waving a gun. Then the swish of the door sliding closed, and the sound of the lock as it snaps into place. Dangling from the balcony, TC looks across the neighboring building. A dozen windows, 25 feet away, all vacant except one. Front and center, a blue-haired woman, hand to her mouth, appears frozen behind the glass. TC's half-mast manhood on full display. His equipment waves freely as he struggles to maintain his grip. He's afraid to call out for help, sure that it would tip off the raging boyfriend. His arms numb, TC looks down, considering a drop. Even with his 6-foot height and extended arms, he'll have at least an 8-foot fall. Directly below, his jeans, shirt, and drawers lie snagged in the thorny leaves of a holly hedge that extends the full length of the building. Weighing his options, TC thinks he can push off the exterior brick and swing out far enough to clear the dangerous evergreen. The woman in the window, transfixed by the naked TC, seems to have claimed a movie seat. She holds a ball of popcorn and feeds a handful into her gaping mouth. TC's arms are like rubber. He's got to get down. More shouting inside, and the door slides open again. Show yourself, you cocksucker, a voice slurs. I'll kill you, damn it. TC wills himself to hold on, praying for the door to close, and it does. Between the brick of the building and the holly is a space of perhaps 12 to 15 inches. TC considers aiming his body for that space, but with nothing to break his fall, he'd probably end up with broken legs. No, better to take his chances with the thorny evergreen and nurse his wounds. Suddenly, TC's grip slips and he drops like a rock into the bush below. So did TC have enough comeuppance there? Read a book to find out. I thought he had it first. And finally, the third rule of thumb that you want to follow for writing a solid tragedy is to make sure you set up circumstances to where everything could have ended up in a perfect happy ending. Give the reader a hint of what that would have looked like, and then have it go horribly wrong. There's a point in the book where everything seems to be getting a little bit better, especially for Bunny. I don't think I'm spoiling too much here because of the back of the book flap implies as much, but I will say don't get too comfortable. But a good author and storyteller needs to be able to set up a vision of a traditional comedic happy ending. And here is this vision for this book. Bunny scoops up his beanie and in one motion snugs it back into place. Raquel's face now a ghostly shade of white, her eyes full of questions. She stares at him. Don't worry, Bunny smiles. I'm okay. Fresh energy surging through him, he feels stronger now than he can ever remember. He reaches down, taking Raquel by the hand, and pulls her to her feet. There's something I've been wanting to give you. Bunny leans in and awkwardly tries to press his lips to Raquel's. Instead, his only success is bumping into her nose. She jumps, surprised, and as a beautiful smile blooms across her face, she guides him in for a proper kiss. The sound of applause interrupts their moment, and they pull away, red-faced and shocked. Everyone is on their feet clapping as a shrill whistle rings out. Unable to stop smiling, Bunny clasps Raquel's hand, raising it high in the air as he bends low to make an exaggerated bow. Come on, he laughs, pulling Raquel toward her. I've got more of where that came from. Now, when I first read that, I thought, with the whole class cheering and whatnot, that it had to be a dream, that there was a little bit too much optimism going on, or maybe the way Bunny perceived things wasn't the way that Raquel actually felt or something, because this book had been up and down the whole time. But no, it seemed to indicate that these two kids could have a happy ending, which of course I've said this whole time that it's a tragedy, so it downward spirals into quite the chilling climax. But that I'll let you read on your own. No more spoilers here from me, but definitely pick up your copy of The Forgotten Son by B.J. Sloan. I'll put links to where you can get it in the description below. And I'll also have this review up on the blog section of my website. So that's all for now. I have been the Writing Ref, and until we do the next book referral, that has been The Call.